Catus Maximus here. This time I'm reviewing some 1/4-inch spinner handles. These are pretty common and pretty cheap, and people have seen quite a few of these things. They usually come with a tool set, or maybe you buy it just for convenience. Of course, the nice thing about spinner handles is you can just take any socket and put it on, and it becomes like a nut driver. So you don't have to buy a whole set of nut drivers, just a set of sockets and spinner handles. There's actually quite a bit of difference about spinner handles. I decided to do this review because I had 10 of different ones to compare. And what we have here is we have pretty much a good representation. We have a Craftsman, an SK, a couple SKs, a Husky, a Blackhawk, a Challenger, a Proto, a couple Snap-ons, and then a Mastercraft Pro. And the Mastercraft Pro was part of the very first tool set I ever got. About 20 years ago. It was from Fingerhut. I didn't know anything about tools. Before then, I had I had nothing. A few tools that fit in a tiny little, plastic box. And they've been amazing. I'll do some reviews of them. I don't know how they are now, or if they even sold anymore. But 20 years ago, I was, taking a risk. They were a couple $100. It was a big tool set. And they've really proven to be amazing after all these years. So we'll give you some close-up looks of these and talk about some of the differences. Here's the Mastercraft. It's really beautifully made. It has a nice strong ball dentant on it. And I was going to mention, well, let's finish looking at this one. This is one of my favorite ones. One of the things, properties, is many of these are just a handle, but some of the nicer ones are like this, where they're actually an extension. So you can put a ratchet or anything to break the bolt, or just use the driver as an extension and then be able to spin it out or have good grip. I really like this Mastercraft. You can see it's a 6-sided one, and it has nice deep undercuts. And this greasy has proven to be pretty good grip. And that's really one of the things that sets these apart, is the handles and the grips. They started off earlier, such as all these types, where they're much rounder. We've got the Blackhawk and the Proto and a couple of the Huskies, or the Husky and the Craftsman. And really the complaints were is that none of these handles, even though they were good, offered you enough grip. So once you got your hands greasy, there just isn't enough meat there to really get a good grip on, and so your hands start slipping around. And a great example of that is both of these SKs here. And I'm trying to actually evidence this. There we go. Come on. It's really hard to see. There we go. So both these SKs actually have the same part number, 40954, but they are actually significantly different. This older one has a really strong ball dentant. You can see they are traditional SK, where they have a hard shoulder there. The handle length is a little longer on the green one. The big difference is they went from something being so round to something that's more 4-sided and square. And so you do get a lot more grip on this one, this newer SK, than you do on the older SK. Another thing I wanted to, and the same thing goes to the Snap-on, where this is they tried to make more 4-sided, and it worked. But even then, if they just make one that is box-shaped, then you have big, large edges to actually get a grip on when your hands are greasy. And like this Snap-on is also a through style, where this one is not. Now, some other aspects is they kind of do a half and half, where this Blackhawk, where's the logo there? There's the Blackhawk, and of course this Proto, is that they don't use a solid piece of steel all the way through. Even though you can put a ratchet on the back, it's actually relying on the plastic to take the force, and that's not as strong. I have broken a couple like this, putting excessive force on them. Admittedly, they weren't a Blackhawk and a Proto or a real professional brand, but nonetheless, that isn't exactly what you want to see. You want to see something where it's just a nice piece of steel all the way through the handle. And additionally, the Blackhawk uses an interesting design where they just have, the insert just has small little teeth. And I could, it seems to work fine, but that doesn't seem like it would have as much staying power. It wouldn't stay in there quite as well as maybe this Proto, which you can see the Proto, they tried to improve that by having the plastic come over the top of the nub and then using a big square. So the piece of metal is a little more secured in the Proto than it is in the Blackhawk, but Either way, the plastic handles are taking the load. Alrighty, that's about it for this review. Just wanted to show about 1/4" spinner handles, and ultimately, unless you find like a nice one used, when you find them, search for ones that have really square, bulky handles, because those are the ones you're going to get grip on, and try to find ones that you can drive, because that makes it real handy, because you can break a bolt and spin it out. That has a full metal extension or shaft through the handle, rather than being partial like this or not having one at all. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Catus Maximus out.